It's Monday, and you know what that means? It's IndyCar night in America. Let's talk etymology for a moment, shall we? Etymology is the study of origins of words and the way that their meanings have changed throughout history. The etymology of the word rovel as it relates to racing has had a much longer history than one realizes. NASCAR would have you to believe that the word roval is a relatively new term that they use to define an oval racing facility that incorporates portions of the oval in addition to the infield road course. However, this is revisionist history as the word roval goes back much further and has an alternate meaning. In fact, one of the earliest recorded uses of the word as it concerned auto racing was in 1984 when Caesars Palace in Las Vegas hosted an IndyCar race on a modified oval circuit in its parking lot. Roval, in this case, refers to an oval with road course-like characteristics. However, the term came into regular prominence in 1996 as the kart series visited Rio de Janeiro for a 400-kilometer race on the trapezoidal Emerson Fittipaldi Speedway oval. Due to uniqueness in shape and configuration, drivers would have to brake hard and downshift to make the turn into turn one, something they would have to do on a road course. Well, it remains a mystery on who coined the term. One thing is for sure. The term rovel was coined by IndyCar drivers at an IndyCar race a full 34 years before Speedway Motorsports Company, the parent company owning Charlotte Motor Speedways, trademarked the term to apply to its fall NASCAR race. And now you know the rest of the story. Hello again, everybody. I am Gary Gatto, and welcome to Race First coverage of Round 8 of Monday Night Indy Split, coming to you for a second time this season from the Charlotte Motor Speedway in Concord, North Carolina. As the drivers tonight prepare to do battle on the only road course event on the fixed series schedule, the Charlotte Roval. Joining me again for expert analysis in the booth from the NHR eSports team in the Lionheart IndyCar Series is Stephen Larkamp, and controlling the cameras is the boss man of Race First himself, Matt Houston. Stephen, you first. There isn't much of a history to go off of here, especially on the CMS road course. What can we expect tonight as this group of drivers roars into turn one tonight?
Well, the main thing that I am expecting right now is this will be a race of survival. The nature of this circuit, as it was built for stock car racing, it has very high curbing on a lot of the insides, a lot of the corners, and the walls are very confined, much like a street circuit in many regards, even though this is a permanent racing facility and we're not on the streets of Concord, North Carolina, though that might be a cool idea in any case. But what we're looking at here is how well will these drivers be able to keep their equipment intact? Passing opportunities, they are sparse, but you can certainly make it happen, especially on the entry into the circuit's two rather now infamous chicanes, the one on the back straightaway and the one on the front straightaway. And I mean that in regards to the oval configuration that you would normally expect races at Charlotte Motor Speedway to have. So, all things considered, this race is definitely going to be one where the drivers are going to have to avoid banging up their equipment a lot. They're going to have to avoid taking many serious risks, and they're also going to have to avoid any major mistakes that will allow them to damage their cars early on and hurt their chances later on in the going, especially since in terms of a strategy, we really only have one pit stop where you can really make any changes on that and you can get a repair if you need to, but you really only have that one shot. Otherwise, you're kind of stuffed when it comes to strategy. Matt, what do you have to say, man?
Well, sometimes we call it like a concrete jungle, say at Detroit or Long Beach, something like that. I think we're here tonight in another one of these concrete jungles, like you said at the intro. This is the Roval, though. Big time survival here. I said in our broadcast prep that certainly starting from the pits is not a bad idea here. It is probably a good idea here. We've got a lot of drivers that we have never seen here on the top split fixed. A lot of new names, that are opting to not go this week in this field. So I would wish they were here, like the demerits of the world, any of those top oval iRacing guys. But we've got some other familiar names here, maybe from the road course side of things, and it's going to be really interesting to see tonight.
Well, bear with us, folks, as we learn a whole bunch of new last names. And if we butcher yours, please forgive us. But the official track record sits at a minute 22.144 or a speed of 99.9921 miles per hour, held by William Byron in a Cup car. However, hopefully in a sign of what maybe to come. A two-time IndyCar Series champion Joseph Newgarden turned an unofficial lap of 1:07 for a speed of 122.143 mile per hour in its Penske-prepared Chevy-powered IR18 in a successful exhibition for the fans just prior to the first Cup race at the facility a couple years ago. Maybe, just maybe, we will see IndyCar return to the Charlotte circuit once again. The oval turns are banked at 24 with the straights at 5. The infield features slight elevation changes and some very generous runoff areas in some areas for those drivers who want to take a wider arc into the turns. Other than that, stand by in the garage area. It's time to go racing, and with that, it's time to look at tonight's starting lineup from Charlotte.
You're going to let me go start with that one? We've got it up. I'll say Andreas in P1, Nate Siefker, P2, Bruno Miranda, P3, Dakota DeMade, P4, Nate Brody, P5, Christian Jasper, P6. So actually, 3 names over from the Formula Indy Series making top 6 starts here tonight.
Good job, guys. Go ahead. You can finish it up if you'd like there, Stephen.
James Watson starts his number 6 machine in 7th place alongside the number 11 of Navarre Luce. Aaron McQuarrie starts 9th alongside common appearance Thomas Geisler in the number 5 machine, rolling off in 10th. Maxime Carrier in the 22 starts 11th alongside the 15 of Stephen Lee. 13th will be John Silva's number 8 alongside Ryan Verhulst, a road racing veteran, in the number 14. Rory Jackermus in the 15 alongside Gabriel Macena de Souza in the 16th position, driving number 14 car. The 17th will be Gregory Angus's number 20 alongside the 13 of Cristiano Benevento for 17th and 18th place respectively. 19th will be Daniel Rafero in the number 16 aliside the 17 of Max Rooney, rounding out the top 20. Michelle Loveday in the 18 starts 21st alongside Clayton Hardy in the 19, and shotgun on the field David Detters in the number 23 machine as we finally roll off behind the pace car for one full pace lap and then get ready for the start. And if the nature of this circuit is any indicator in stock car racing, and we don't have the system where in the Cup Series they bypass the final chicane coming to restarts, we don't have that here in iRacing. So I would imagine we're in for quite an exciting start.
Maybe it might be a good time to use the old standing start, Matt?
With that chicane there, I'm not so sure about that. One thing I wanted to confirm...
That might be even worse.
Yeah, maybe here, I would say it might be worse. One thing I wanted to confirm is I don't see an official IndyCar Dallara IR18 race at this Roval, so these are currently lap record speeds here in iRacing.
Very much so. And looking at the pole sitter, Adrias Valentinus in the number 1 machine, a 104.770. You can compare that to the lap that Joseph Newgarden put down, a 107. That 107, at best, would only put him 10th in this field, whereas the pole sitter has a 104.770. So these guys certainly are putting in mega fast speeds compared to the all-time fastest we've seen here in real life.
Well, that was a bit of a shakedown cruise for that particular car. I think it had an old road course setup on it that they never really took off, and I think it was really set up for Simon Pagenaud. But still, I mean, getting behind the wheel and turning a 107 is, which is a full 13 seconds faster than the Cup car, is still cutting it around here pretty quickly. So I would imagine that if IndyCar ever did come here for real and they got a chance to really tune these cars for optimal times, we're probably seeing very close to what is going to be reflected on the charts right here tonight. We're getting ready to come out of Oval Turn 2 down the backstretch into one of the 2 main chicanes here on the circuit. Right now, everybody is in kind of formation. The first 4 cars are on the alternate tires. We're going to talk about that tonight. There's going to be looks like Dakota is going to just cut through to the chicane area, which is allowable. But the first 4 cars are on the alternate tires. The first car that is on the prime tire is Nate Brody in P5. We'll talk about that tonight. Another thing we're going to talk about tonight is push to pass. Each driver will have 10 pushes of push to pass for 20 seconds each, I believe, which is a small increase of horsepower, which they are allowed to attack and defend depending on how they want to use that to try to pass. We'll have that tonight as well. It's something that we don't see normally on road course races or on oval races. And we're getting ready to go green. So, Steven, take us through the first lap.
Great jump already for Valentin as he gets a great lead coming across the start-finish line. Siefker starts to lose ground on him in second place. Miranda tucks into third. Dakota DeMeg, everybody getting calmly into single file order, it would seem. Nice and clean, remarkably, through the first turn.
Yeah, I think he used the, Bruno Miranda. Looks like he got a little, not Bruno, Nate Brody actually got a little squirrely there coming into the infield portion of the road course. But I think Arjuris used the confusion of going through that last chicane to his advantage and has stormed out to about a 1.5 lead already, and we're only halfway through the first lap.
That is certainly a thing I was looking for.
Oh, we hear a car with damage. Christian Jasper is reporting he has issues.
Yes, he is. He's actually pulling to the side on the back straightaway, coming into the chicane. Doesn't want to cause an incident there. Very responsible driving by him. Not too sure what happened there.
Oh, we got a car off into the. Yeah, we got one of the Hooters cars off into, and he goes ahead and straight to reset. So that might be Max Rooney that we just saw there. But Christian Jasper is limping it around. He's right now in oval turn 4, and he's headed on to the pits. It is a bit of a disappointing first lap after a great starting position for him for the start of this race.
Very big shame for him. Seems to me like he has brought it down onto pit road, so that will certainly take him out of contention unless something tragic happens to pretty much everybody else. But that was a big shame for him. Started off P6, was looking for a decent result today.
Just to report what happened to him, it was the corner coming back onto the oval banking. He understeered up the track there and collided with the wall, so not a good day for Christian there.
To do that. Yeah, with the rather abrupt transition going onto the banking and how these cars would behave in that circumstance is not as they're a bit more fragile than a cup car would be going up there. So it's very easy to get caught out on that transition. So, and it would seem that he's the first victim of the day.
Yeah, and the cup cars do have a lot more bend in them versus these cars. These guys are stiff as a board, and they don't like to bend or break at all when it comes to. You know what? I'm looking at the leader. Look at one of his side pods. It looks to be flapping around. Does a leader maybe have... yeah, he has a flapping side pod, so the leader has some sort of issue.
Yes, he does. He does have a flapping left side pod. I'm not too sure what happened on that one. Possibly damage from one of the curves would be my guess there anyway. But Valentinus is not letting it get to him too badly, it seems. Nate Siefker is still very much in his wheel track, so we had a 1.5 second gap between Valentinus and Siefker at the stripe last time by. Coming to the end now of lap number 3, about to work lap number 4 for the race leaders. And for the moment, Siefker has closed the gap a little bit. It's down to 1.2, but Valentinus is still keeping it steady, but I'd imagine it's not quite to his liking at the moment entirely.
How would that impact the aero of the car?
It certainly would drag down the car a little bit. It would be because these cars are, as I mentioned before, they're very fragile. They're very fine-tuned for aerodynamic purposes. So if you have that little disruption going on there, it would have a hard time with the airflow going over the car on the straights, and it would also disrupt the flow and the airflow in terms of downforce. So the car would be possibly a little bit understeery, possibly a little bit twitchy, depending on the circumstances of that. But it seems to me right now, Valentinus is doing very well to hold on to it so far.
Your top 5 is Arjuris, Nate Seifert, Bruno Miranda, Nate Brody, and Dakota DeMade. Rounding out the top 10 is Navier, Watson, Verhulst, McQuarrie, and Silva. as the field is starting to get really stretched out at this point. 22 cars took the green right now. 20 cars are remaining in this race.
And strategy-wise, the guy I'm looking at pretty intently is Nate Brody. As we mentioned before, he is the first of the cars that's running on the primary tire, running on the hard compound tire. You can tell by the colors. The hard compounds are black, the soft compounds are red. So Brody with the hard tire currently running fourth from a position he gained essentially for free after an early incident with one of them with Christian Jasper early on. But the one thing I'm looking at here is tire degradation on the red tires. With the latest update for the road course tires in IndyCar, that is definitely going to be a major consideration because the red tires are known to fall off quite noticeably in the middle of a run and towards the end, and the black tires will have a noticeable advantage.
Looks like Sievert's cut into that lead for our leader, is now under a second. Had it actually well under a second. It's right at a second right now, but had it well under a second coming through the, as you would expect, the super speedway portion of the road course, where the arrow is going to impact overall speed. Currently, we're right there on the super speedway portion right now as you're going through oval turn 2 down the backstretch and into the chicane, which makes up turns 10, 11, 12 and 13 here on the road course here in Concord, and he's right back there. He's 0.8 tenths behind, and looks like the leaders are also experiencing lap traffic ahead of them as well.
Clayton Hardy in the number 19, he's actually coming down on the pit road, having issues early on. Unfortunate for him. But this lead battle is looking quite interesting at the moment. Siever has gotten down to 8 tenths of a second at the stripe this time by starting lap number 7. Looking at lap times between them, we had Valentinas on that last lap with a 105.889. Oh! The lap car goes off right in front of the leaders. That has got to be a scary moment. I'm not sure who that was.
Might be Ruffero. Was that Ruffero? No. It might have been Clayton Hardy or David Dieters, one of those two. I can't really tell because they're both down in the pits. But yeah, that was right.
It was David Dieter. But getting back to the prior subject here, Valentinas on that last lap did a 105.889, as I said. Siever with a 105.644. So he certainly has better pace at the moment. I would believe that damage to the side pod of Valentinas' car is contributing to some degree, or maybe Valentinas has been pushing his tires a bit hard as well. But another guy I'm looking at as well is Nate Brody, who's also run a 105.698 he's actually had to dodge a lap car there and actually put him in the wall a little bit, coming off the final corner.
That's P4, Nate Brody kissing the wall a little bit. Let's see if he can recover, see how much damage he might have. Don't see from a visual inspection from our cameras, I don't see any flapping parts like the Arduous car, the number 1 car, our current leader right now. I do see that Siever does have the purple lap of the session so far, 104.9. That is the fastest lap so far. So he is the fastest car on the racetrack, and he's slowly, very slowly reeling in our leader at the moment.
And a quick thing I'm noticing as well in terms of lap times, in that last lap, and maybe due to traffic as well getting involved with a lot of these drivers, but they've actually dropped into the 1-minute 6s right now. Valentinas with a 106.1, Miranda with a 106.1, Siever with a 106.1, Brody with a 106.3, trying to avoid that lapped car. And we'll see what it amounts to at the stripe this time by. But Brody seems to be recovering pretty well at the moment. Is actually run a 106.2. So he's trying to recover a little bit. Might have gotten a little bit of suspension damage, but overall it seems like he's trying to recover, get back in the groove a little bit, and he's still maintaining decent pace, still just under 5 seconds behind the race leader.
Do they have, I know that they have still the tire requirements in the pits in terms of 3 sets. One they start the car on and 2 additional in the pits. Do they have to change the compound in the fixed series?
No, they do not have to. They can run reds all they want, or they can run the black tires all they want. There's no requirement of a tire using two tire compounds in this.
All right.
Yeah, and with iRacing right now, they don't actually have a system in place to enforce that rule in terms of a baked-in system. The leagues that do it, for example, the Lionheart IndyCar Series has a requirement for running the black and the red tires for at least 2 green flag laps, but that is enforced manually by the stewards, and the punishment only really comes at the end of the race. Here, there is no such rule that can be enforced. Everything is automated in official races. So they're going to have to, so they're using their own strategic judgment to get the most out of whichever tires they choose, and they're pretty much free to choose whichever they want.
About when do you think the window opens up for their pit stops to take them to the end?
I have a feeling they're just going to split it about halfway is what I would probably do here.
Okay.
So I think we're going to be, between 15 and 20 is when, that pit window is going to open. This is a little bit shorter race than they would run over in the Indy Road Series. If it was on the road course, they run, I think it's about 100-mile races here. We're a little bit shorter here tonight.
And unfortunately, I hadn't quite crunched the numbers in fuel mileage before this one, but the two main schools of thought would be, well, I guess you could throw in a third school of thought as well, is either come in early, come in late, or come in the middle. And the guy in particular I'm looking at for the come in later strategy is Nate Brody in the number 2. He's running the black hard compound tire. So he is going to try and maximize this stint as long as possible because of the advantage that the black tire will have compared to the reds later on in the going. So he has set his strategy out the gate. Oh,
leaders are starting to get into lap traffic heavy now. We'll see how they navigate there, and they're going to have to navigate these guys into.
This is an opportunity for Siefker as they look down the inside on the lap car. Oh, up on the curb. That was a sketchy moment there in the chicane. Very easy to have that happen. I think the lap car was just bewildered about what was happening around them. Kind of scary for a lot of these guys who may not be used to racing with guys this fast. When you got the 2 race leaders battling for the point that what am I gonna do? Am I gonna go this way? Am I gonna go that way? But I gotta get out of the way, or else I'm gonna cause a serious accident.
I think Stephen Lee there in the Apple TV car, ducks out of the way, allows the leaders on through. But that was a bit of a sketch moment coming into the chicane. Kind of saw that one coming. We knew when they're going to reach him right there at the chicane, and we knew it was going to be tight quarters going on out. Lap 12 of 35, if you're just joining us, this is Monday Night Indy Top Split. We are watching the IndyCar Series from the road course at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Your leader is Argyris Valentis, and he's going to have to actually tell us how to say his last name, but I apologize for butchering that, but he is led from the get-go. He is our pole sitter and took advantage of basically a disorganized start going through the last chicane coming to green, and he has since stood on that. But he's currently sporting some damage on the left side pod that we're not quite sure where he picked it up, maybe popping one of those corners that you just saw here. Currently under attack by Nate Seifert right there in P2 in that black and green car. Nate is the current points leader of the Formula Indy Series, which you'll also see here on Race First on Tuesdays. And he is trying to track him down as we are quickly approaching the halfway point of this race.
I do have an official number I've got on how many laps they can do. They can go about 23 laps, so I'd say 22, 24 at most if they were saving fuel. But I would say that means that the pit window is open at the moment if they want to stretch it. If they want to switch over to the black tires and go to the end from here.
There with a run. Oh, he had a peek down to the inside going into the backstretch chicane. Nothing doing at the moment. But Seifker really putting on the pressure on Valentinas, and Valentinas maybe overdriving a little bit. And actually, one thing I noticed, the last lap, Seifker and Valentinas ran identical lap times, 106.176 for both the 1 and 10 machines. And right now, Valentinas has pulled out a bit of more of a gap there because of Siefker trying to make the move, maybe slowing down his pace a little bit. And actually, one other thing I'm considering right now, I'm looking at the lap times of Nate Brody, comparing to Valentinas, a 106.0 for Valentinas, a 106.2 for Siefker. Brody in P4, a 105.6. So he is certainly catching up, and more lap traffic coming into picture for both him and Bruno Miranda. Oh, that's Stephen Lee. They're trying to work their way around, and they do
that's
so.
Stephen Lee in the Samsung car. I identified him in the Apple TV car. That's not him, but that's another driver. But they worked their way around, but that attack allowed, the failed attack actually by Seifert allowed Arduous to get a little bit of a breather and pull out ahead as Seifert regains himself, his composure. The leader has 10 push-to-passes left. P2 has 8. Bruno Miranda has 6. Nate Brody still has his full complement of 10. And P5, Navarro Lucy, also has 9. P6, our friend Dakota DeMade, also has 9.
And that's another thing we're considering as well, push to pass. It's something we actually don't see on the ovals. It'd actually be pretty hard to actually make that, to sort of balance that and make it work well for the drivers, especially with everything else they've got to deal with on ovals. But you push the button, it gives you extra boost from the turbocharger going down the straightaways, and as soon as you lift off the throttle or touch the brake, it deactivates. So it gives you 10 charges per race. It's for the entire race. It's not the same as in the real world IndyCar Series where there's a time limit on how many seconds you can be on the button, but in all cases, it's something I'm also considering as well, because as you mentioned before, Valentinas and Siefker have been using it pretty noticeably early on in this race as we approach halfway, but Brody hasn't. He's been saving that, and it could well be that he doesn't want to bother with it as well, but he's not.
He just used this first one, but our first of the leaders are in. Bruno Miranda looks like he is in pit road for his regularly scheduled stop to take him to the end.
Coming in at the end of lap number 15 is Bruno Miranda. He's got a long, slow drive at 40 miles an hour down the pit road. It's always agonizing at these sorts of tracks. Comes to a stop. And as he does, I'm keeping an eye once again on the lap times of the leaders. Miranda now down and away. He is staying on the reds. He is going to be running soft compound tire for the entire race, it would seem.
Oh, leader gets caught up a little bit behind Christian Jasper. It's going to allow Nate Seifert to kind of close the gap a little bit. Jasper gets down out of the way, allows leaders to go on by, but he caught him in a braking zone. That cost him a little bit of time. Seifert sees the opportunity. He is on push to pass at the moment, trying to track the leader down as they come into the chicanes there at turns 15 and 16 right before the start-finish line, as we are now starting lap 17.
And it seemed like Siefker was having a rough time with lap traffic on that previous lap where something happened to him. He ran a 106.7 on that last one, lost ground to Valentinas. But that kind of goes to show the ebb and flow of the traffic situation in this race. Of course, a lot of people may say, especially if you watch Formula One, why don't they just immediately get out of the way like an F1? Because they don't need to. The blue flag is advisory only. They have no obligation in the rules to let the leader by. It's of course good manners to do so, but it's very hard to make it work in everybody's best benefit, especially on a track like this, as narrow and as tight as it is. I think there's always going to be winners and losers.
Well, and especially when you're not. You're still on the lead lap and you're not a lap down, it's tough to really give up that position. Now, if I was a lap down, it'll be a little bit easier, but if I'm still on the same lap as you and you're just kind of coming up to lap me, I'm going to fight as hard as I can to stay on that lap, whether I'm on a road course or an oval. But, hey, if you're starting to see a third car enter the picture here with the leaders, you are noticing things correctly. That is Nate Brody. He is now part of the picture, coming up to the gearbox of Nate Seifert now for P2.
And the last two laps so far for Brody have been absolute flyers. His last lap may have been the fastest race. Oh, I actually saw someone spun around in turn one. Trying to pinpoint who exactly that is. It's Gregory Angus in the number 20 around in turn 1.
Yeah, he was in P15 at that point.
Looks like he just lost it on his own.
Probably getting, I don't think, he actually pitted on lap 8. He might have pitted due to damage on tires, or due to damage that he picked up somewhere on the track, looking at that early. And the leader is in, by the way. And he might have just had to cook those tires a little bit, but the leader is in. That turns the lead over to Seifert and Brody. Brody is all over the back end of Seifert right now.
With a big twitch coming off of turn 1. He's really struggling on those right tires. Brody is all over him. His last 2 laps have been 105.3s. He has been absolutely flying compared to Seifert with a 105.9. So I would not be at all surprised that before Seifert has to admit defeat on this one, either come onto pit road or let Brody by on the track itself. Unless, of course, something tragic happens to either of them. It's very possible. But Brody certainly has the fastest car right now running those hard tires.
Getting that left front down there on the blue line to denote the difference between the banking and the apron. He is right there popping those curves right behind your current leader right now. Let's see if Seifert decides to make that turn down pit road to get those well-worn reds off, and he's going to do that. And that is going to turn the lead over to Nate Brody, and I'm going to imagine that Brody is going to run this out, probably run these next couple of laps as hard as humanly possible, and try to probably pull the over on these guys if he can, because he only has about 3 or 4 laps worth of fuel over the 2 previous leaders.
That certainly would be a strategy at this point. And if I were in his position, I would come in and put on the reds at the end of this race. He got less laps to run. And not only that, but with the lap times he's running right now on the black tires at the end of this stint, a 105.6 on that last lap. But he was running right behind Seifert. But the thought process for me is I'd come in, I'd get the fast tires early and try to build up a gap. I run my laps out now, run the tank dry at the moment.
Yeah.
Then come in, put on the reds, and then put on some belter laps to try and build up possibly a gap to maybe even jump Valentinas and claim the lead of the race. And speaking of Valentinas, he has made his stop. He has switched over to the black tires.
Seifert just crashed coming out of the pits, so
maybe
after maybe 6 corners or so, right before coming back to the oval. So
he hits the wall coming off and coming towards the transition onto the banking. But utter heartbreak. Utter heartbreak for Seifert. Putting in an amazing performance so far, a threat to potentially win this race. And it all goes to pot right after the pit stop.
Nate Brody sporting that white Red Bull livery done by, I believe that is done by Sunset Arctic right there. That's their due. Very good looking, sharp looking car. If you would like to drive that yourself, get on Trading Paints, pick it up. That is done by our own Dakota DeMay.
And personally speaking, this is a little personal thing. I really like that tribute scheme that Red Bull ran at the Turkish Grand Prix this year, which is what that is based on. It was just a beautiful tribute to their partnership with Honda, which unfortunately will not be happening next year, although they will still be running Honda equipment, but under the Red Bull badge. But looking at everything but keeping an eye on the lap times of everyone else here, Brody with a 105.3, Valentinas, his last lap was a 104.6. So Valentinas right now on the black tires has been putting on a solid performance. He's certainly running less fuel in the car. You don't need as much fuel to make it to the end of this race. So the question I have here is, what's Brody's game plan going into the final stint of this race?
Brody has a 23-second lead now at the moment. I don't think that's enough to keep him in the lead. We will see.
It is interesting that Valentinas has gone with the black tires for the second stint here.
That is certainly an interesting call.
Yeah, maybe he just felt that the fall off of those reds was a little bit more than he could have handled on that first stint.
Maybe so, and having a look at lap times put in at the start of the race, they're actually gotten quicker as the run has gone on, and it's actually rather funny. You would think that with the red tires at the start of this race, he would have put in his fast lap on, say, lap 2 or 3 and run a low 104. That doesn't seem to be the case here. He's actually running his best laps right now on hard tires, as Brody, meanwhile, works his way by more lap traffic. And I would imagine he's going to be coming in the next lap or two.
Yeah, I would imagine he is coming in this time by. We'll see. He gets back out onto the oval, going through oval turns 1 and 2, getting ready to set up down the backstretch into the first of 2 chicanes before, actually the first of chicane. You're actually going to hit the second chicane before hitting pit road. He'll be able to bypass that. But going through the chicane, has 2 lap cars in front of him. We will see how he plays this one out. Is he going to go one more lap, or is he going to pull in this time? Doesn't look like he's pulling down yet. He might be going for another lap.
Go another lap. So that'll be 24 laps, as I can confirm Siefker is out of the race. He has disconnected, unfortunately.
So that now brings Ardruis up to P2, Bruno Miranda to P3, Dakota DeMaid now up to P4, and Navarre Luce up to P5. John Silva is now P6. Tommy G, P7, James Watson, P8, D'Souza, P9, and McQuarrie, just kind of hanging around the top 10 all day, is in P10.
See, having a look at James Watson, he's actually got Ardruis all over his gearboxes. He puts him a lap down. We only, at this moment, not helped by the fact that Brody has stayed out another lap, but we only have 4 cars left on the lead lap. Nate Brody, Ardruis Valentinas, Bruno Miranda, and Dakota DeMaig. That may well change at the end here once Brody does make his final stop, as he makes his way around lap traffic going into the backstretch chicane.
Let's got Dakota right in front of him there, going through ovals turns 3 and 4, and he's coming down.
Brody's coming in,
and it looks like this is going to be his scheduled stop.
Let's see where this puts him. Down to 40 miles an hour, and keep an eye on it right now. Valentinas is making. Ardruis is making his way out of the chicane on the back straightaway. On the back straight, he's right behind Tommy G. He probably is going to regain the lead. We shall see. The left side pod that was flapping around is fixed, so that is repaired. Look like
he
Brody
is right behind Tommy G. Tommy G's actually kind of holding him up a little bit, but he can't really pick a good spot to get around. There he goes, getting around Tommy G going into turn 1.
Brody down and away on black tires. He's staying on blacks.
And, well, yeah, maybe he feels that's the best strategy for him. We were talking kind of pre-race, and there he is. He's right behind Tommy G, so he is not out of this battle yet. We were talking pre-race with some of the other drivers, and they were talking that the blacks felt a lot more secure than the reds. And, in fact, some were even turning faster times on the blacks than on the reds. So, I guess it's all a personal preference, isn't it?
Would seem to be. There may be some concrete truisms when it comes to what tires will give you what. It's actually, I saw Ardruis just lock up a little bit going into the backstretch chicane. But in any case, it does come down to a level of comfort to a degree. Of course, with the latest update, tire strategy is a bit more of a factor, and the comfort level you may have is certainly more of a factor, especially on a track like this where the question would be, do you prioritize being extra cautious or being extra fast? It certainly seems to be like being extra cautious is certainly paying dividends to Brody and Valentinas right at the time being. But with the latest update to the tires on the IR18 and the IR18 IndyCar within iRacing, it leads to actual tire strategy being more of a thing, because back before this, you didn't really do anything else except run reds for much of the race, because the red tire did have drop off compared to the blacks, but it was nowhere near as much as it is now. So there's a lot more to consider when it comes to tires now.
Now 10 laps to go. The leader with a 2.5-second lead over Nate Brody. Brody with a 21-second lead over P3. So it looks like P1 and P2, provided that they can finish this thing out, pretty much have their position secured. Don't want to jinx anybody quite yet. We're now 9 laps to go, and only 6 cars on the lead lap.
Yep, and this, of course, this is after the leaders. Oh, Brody! Brody's in the wall! Nate Brody puts it in the wall in turn 3.
And he has a left front askew. He is minus a front tire, or minus a front wing.
Actually in the wall again. That is game over for Nate Brody.
Yeah, game over. He's going to try to nurse that back to the pits.
I would say that's some of the concrete jungle right there, is what I'll say, both with Brody here and Ziefker.
Very true. And Brody, of course, pushing as hard as he possibly could, as much as he felt was safe, and unfortunately just overdid it there. He's trying to limp the car around, and he actually blows the backstretch chicane completely. He knows he's done.
That was probably a smart thing to do right there. He knows he's going to have to slow down anyways. This will he'll be able to, if he didn't have any damage before, he will be able to get a reset here, I believe. But effectively, his podium, I think we just jinxed him when I said this, his podium and his shot to win is effectively over.
I'm not entirely certain. We'll see when he hits the pits, when he hits his pit stall here. But that looked like it hit him on a hit on the suspension. They will change the wing, of course, and a bit of side pod damage on the left side as well. So Nate Brody brings it in. This will hand second place to Bruno Miranda.
Yep. And Dakota is now currently tracking him down for P3 as Nate is sitting in the pits. He just passed him for P3. So Dakota now is, for someone that started this race not sure of how he was going to do tonight, he is now in a podium position.
Maybe it is best to lower your expectations in many ways. I mean, yeah, it just it doesn't put as much pressure on you, and it gets you to at least drive the car safely. And a track like this, driving safely could probably net you a podium, as it is right now for Dakota DeMeg, barring the commentator's curse striking a third time tonight. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah,
well, sometimes all you have to do is race the racetrack.
Actually spinning the chicane.
Oh.
Looks like trying to pinpoint the west. Daniel Raffaero. Not the first time he's had trouble tonight.
But he's getting it going here. Needs to straighten her out.
Looking on his relative timing display to see when it's clear. He gets the car spun. And recovers
that's
very
pretty gentlemanly of him.
Yeah, that was really, really, really good of him.
Yeah.
If anybody watching from home wants to see how to re-enter the race very safely, that is a textbook example right there. So good on him. Fortunate bad luck, but good on him for being very gentleman racer about it. Let's put it that way.
Very much so. And as we're working 6 laps to go here, looking at the gaps right now, Ardris Valentinas, who has led from the drop of the green as he works his way around Stephen Lee in the Samsung entry. And as we look at it right now, it's a 28-second lead over Bruno Miranda in P2. Comparing lap times, Valentinas' last lap was a 105.4, Miranda with a 107.8, Dakota DeMeg with a 107.4. So Valentinas very much in cruise control right now. He knows he's bound to know he's got the race locked up if he avoids any major errors.
Well, and he has the purple lap too at a 104.6. So right now he has 3/4 of the way to the Grand Slam. Of course, he's not going to be able to lead every lap tonight, but right now he has the win in hand. He has the pole position. He has the fastest lap. So not a bad day's worth of work, even though we got 5 laps to go still.
Yep, and please don't curse him again, guys.
If I had that much power, I would be cursing everybody, I guess, and allowing myself to win.
Oh, believe me, if I had the power to curse people, I could do a lot of things. But looking back now, the battle for third position is actually one of the closer ones on the circuit right now between Dakota DeMeg and Navar Luce in that number 11 as they're working their way around lap traffic.
Yeah, they are in the middle of heavy lap traffic. And Navarre is going to try to dive it in there into turn one. Doesn't quite get the nose there. He has a bit of a more shallower arc, so that allows Dakota to get through that first turn a lot quicker. Now he has another lap car right in front of him. That is Verlust.
For those of you wondering what position Brody is in right now, he is still in P8, 1 lap down. He could still potentially gain a few more spots at the end of this race if he's got the pace for it. But it's rather unfortunate to be coming away with that result when it's possible you get a podium or a win.
You can see that car, I'm talking about Brody's car, is not handling correctly.
Oh, no, it is not.
The front tires are not even straight on the straightaways. So
that's exactly what I feared
also,
when I was...
who's in Ryan Verhulst, he's also missing a portion of his side pod right now as the battle for third place just bypasses him. So he's we've got a couple walking wounded out there.
Yeah, he is keeping it steady right now, running lap times in the 1:09s. And actually, that's one thing I've actually noticed after qualifying at this race. The pole sitter, Adrius Valentinas, of course, with a 1:04.7. The last driver to qualify down in P18 was Cristiano Benevento with a 1:10.5. We don't have the 107% rule here like in Formula One. So these guys, of course, don't get kicked if they can't post a Q time. Some of them didn't even put Q times at all. But with him but with that particular driver, unfortunately, he's had a rough go of it. He's actually out of the race early on. But it's very possible at a track like this that overall pace is sort of a secondary factor compared to the fact that you actually made it to the end of the race.
Race the racetrack, drive to survive is a very secure strat right here. 3 laps to go now, and we're still watching. I believe we're still watching this battle.
Where they named the HBO F1 series "Drive to Survive," or Netflix, I should say.
We need an IndyCar series. Even though they did have that, that series. Was it? I believe it was on Netflix. That they followed Scott Dixon around during the 2017 season, I believe.
I believe that. Sorry to cut you, Gary. There.
Yeah.
I do believe that IndyCar is working on something like that, like what they were calling a scripted series.
Good.
Something out there.
Good.
Cool.
Don't know the ETA on that though, but it's certainly been talked about by Marshall Pruitt, I believe, over on Racer.
It's Penske Entertainment. Just drop a bag of money on some company to come follow the drivers around with some cameras.
That is exactly right.
I am sure they can afford that.
But keeping an eye on the battle for third right now, Navarre Luce has the faster car at the moment. He's just under a second behind Dakota DeMeg as we are coming to 2 laps to go. And actually, the leader is coming to 1 lap to go as he makes his way off of the oval turn number 4 into the backstretch chicane. The white flag is in the air for Adrius Valentinas, who has put on a clinic tonight, an absolute masterclass of a performance, and actually puts in another lap in the 1:04s for good measure at the moment.
1:4, what's it like a 4.9, a 4.953. Of course, his fastest lap is a 4.650. So he's not that much off his fastest pace. We're talking light tanks now. So he is surely flying around. He still has 4 pushes of passes to use if he wants to try to up that if he wants. Right now, the push-pass situation in this battle for third, Dakota has 1. Navarre has now 1. Navarre's on it right now.
Navarre bouncing off that curb in the backstretch chicane as they are coming to their last lap. Meanwhile, behind them, Adrius Valentinas off the backstretch chicane. Again, an absolute masterclass. There's not a wheel wrong tonight, and he's going to get the best reward for his prudence off the final chicane. Adrius Valentinas takes the win on the Charlotte Roval.
In that carbon fiber, no sponsor car. Let's check out this battle for third, though. This one still rages on.
That's right.
As they are now in the infield portion, just exiting out, as they are now on the oval. Looks like Dakota does have some lap traffic ahead of him, but that is kind of a bit of a friendly driver to him, Christian Jasper. So maybe Jasper leaves a little bit of his tail hanging out to slow down. No, Jasper's going to pull out of the way a little bit.
Good run, though, coming through the chicane. Does he try a bonsai move going into the final chicane?
He might just do it. He might just do it. We'll see. Here they come into the chicane. He tries it. You watch him get a little swing.
Not quite enough. Dakota DeMeg holds on for a
job, buddy. Nice job with the podium. He's gonna take that iRating and be very happy with that.
So
certainly,
about
certainly a great result for someone who had no expectations going into this race.
Our winner in this race had a 7,000 road iRating, so that tells you the level of skill there from our P1 driver.
Certainly so, and a name that we don't see and that we haven't seen at all this season on the oval side of things. But when they come to a road course, it can bring out the roadmeisters. Just like when NASCAR goes to tracks like Watkins Glen, Sonoma, and Road America, you can bring out the road course ringers, and the road course ringers can put in amazing results, and we just saw that tonight.
Let's bring up the final standings here as cars are making their way down pit road on their cool-down laps into their pits. Your winner tonight is Ardruas Valentinus. If that's how we're going to run with the name. Again, Ardruas, very sorry for butchering your name. P2, Bruno Miranda with a very quiet yet consistent race, stayed out of trouble and brought himself home a solid P2. And Dakota DeMaid also surviving some of the ills of everyone in front of him and gets himself into a solid P3 for one of his better finishes this season, as a matter of fact, in the Monday Night Indy Fixed Strength of Field races. P4 is Navarre Luce, and P5, John Silva, rounding out your top 5. Rounding out your top 10 is Thomas Geisler. Tommy G, very quiet race, finishing 6th. James Watson, pretty much finished where he started, right around in that position there. Good, consistent race for him, finishing 7th. Nate Brody recovers to finish 8th. Aaron McQuarrie finishes 9th. And D'Souza finishing in P10. Rounding out your top 15, Jasper Jackermus, Voldhust, Lee, and Rafero. And rounding out your top 20 is Hardy Angus Seifert after battling with the leader for much of the first stint. Benevido, Carrier, Dieters, Rooney, and Loveday make out the top 23 of this event. Of course we do.
And a surprise to exactly none of us up here.
Hey, Dakota, this is all of us up here in the booth. Got a copy?
Hey, gang. How's it going?
So, what do you think of getting P3? I'm sure you're tickled pink by it.
Oh, I'm thrilled. That was fun. A little bit of a tricky setup there, and Navarre gave me a good push through most of the race. So, yeah, that was a lot of fun out there.
Yeah, that's a IR gain of 76, which I believe that is the most of anybody in this race.
Woo!
Yeah, big payday, big payday. Kind of tell us about your race. You kind of lost a position early there, but you kind of just stuck with it and didn't panic. Tell us about your race overall.
Yeah, I did not know that the tire you qualify on is the tire that you have to race on rule was in effect.
Oh,
I did not know, actually, that was a rule with the official races.
Yep, it is now. So a lot of us on red tires were shocked to be on red tires, and I don't think we were kind of happy. I wasn't happy with it because I just couldn't get a handle with the red tires, so I just tried to nurse it for as many laps as I could, and then pit in for blacks and show my true pace when I got on those black tires. So that's pretty much it. Is just try and take it home. So yeah. I saw Seifker had a couple issues as well as Brody. So
that's your that is your best. Is that your best result this fixed season?
I also had third at Kentucky, so yeah.
So two podiums for this season, so not too bad, and he helps pad the road rating a little bit. For that
Yeah, I
matter.
never expected to get a podium coming into top split Indy fixed on the road course. But I guess just with the way the field worked out, it was possible. So yeah, really happy with it.
Hey, one other thing we talked about during the broadcast. It wasn't so bad that Nate Brody was running your Red Bull white livery. That's available
Yes, he was.
over on the Trading Paints at Sunset Arctic Graphics.
Yeah, thank you to Nate Brody running the Red Bull paint, which is the third most popular paint of the day on October 19th. So really proud of that one. You guys can check out Sunset Arctic Graphics on Twitter at sunarc_graphics, where I post a bunch of paints, and you can get in contact with me there if you want to commission any paints, as well as any other league graphics, logos, banners, etc.
Very cool.
Yeah. Another shout out. We kind of had the RAL FIS race first crew kind of out there. Thomas finished P6.
Yep.
James Watson P7. Jasper, I thought he was going to give me a run early on, but unfortunately he hit the wall there. But still brought it home to 11th, so that's good for him too. So
Yeah, so James Watson running the yellow Voltic pistol car out there. He
was. That's nice.
At least on the broadcast, that's what he was running. He wasn't running the Watson paint. He was running the Voltic pistol paint. So
I appreciate it.
Yep.
Next week is Milwaukee. I know from league experience, competing against you in the Velocity Online Racing Series, you have a win there. What is your thoughts of moving on to the Milwaukee Mile next?
All about track position. It's probably the most track position dependent track there with Phoenix, I think. So gonna study that qual setup, do quite a few runs, and hopefully qualify top 5 or so, and just keep it up there up front. And that's all you can really do.
Yeah, it'll be the same setup that we ran over in the VOR series, so Dakota should have some experience with that. The main thing is that's like an 85 lap race, and your pit will be 65 laps. So
yeah,
it'll
that's
be
about right.
it'll be very interesting. Doesn't have that many cautions though either, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, you never know. Hit or miss with Milwaukee on cautions.
Yeah,
sometimes you get a iffy field, and yeah.
All right.
Well, we'll see if we get the regulars oval racers. Will make the return for next week. I think some of those folks maybe moved over to open to. I believe they're at New Hampshire starting this week. But we'll probably see the regulars return for next week at Milwaukee, and probably for the fact that they're racing a mile oval, they might learn a little something and be able to apply it to Milwaukee. I don't know, but we'll see. But congrats on the P3, man. I know you're going to be pleased as all get out for that finish, and probably be on a high all week. So congrats, and take that plus 76 iRating gain and take that straight to the bank. So congrats, and we will see you next week.
Absolutely.
Or join the 10-15 one and lose it all back.
That's also a possibility.
It's like double or nothing, you know.
All right.
Hold my beer.
Thanks everybody for watching the broadcast. We'll just keep Dakota in here, and we'll see you guys back next week, same time, same place for Milwaukee. If you have anything else left to say there, Gary, you can go ahead and say it.
Sure thing. So that's it for tonight. Once again, your podium from the Roval at Charlotte is Arduous Valentinus, Bruno Miranda, and Dakota DeMade. Join us next week as we'll call the action once again as the Fixed Series Championship moves on to the Milwaukee Mile for round 9 of Monday Night Indy Split. Now, for those of you watching at home now, you know the YouTube algorithm game is not easy, so please do leave us a comment below and let us know what you thought of tonight's race. If you enjoyed tonight's coverage, support us by smashing the like in the video, and if you're new, please click subscribe, and while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so you don't miss out on more of Race versus iRacing programs such as the PRI Formula Indy Series on Tuesdays And a couple more weeks left of the BMW Car Club of America Sim Racing Series on Thursdays. And soon, in about a month from now, we'll be starting the return of the Reddit IndyCar League, which will return as the Revolution IndyCar League for Season 4 of the Schaefer IndyCar Series, which Dakota is the defending champ of. So to learn more about Raceverse and what we do, visit raceverse.com or follow us on Twitter. You can follow me, Gary Godso, on Twitter at Gary Godso. So thanks, everyone took time to watch. Be sure to join Matt, Steven, and myself again next week, same time, same channel. That's Monday, 8:15 Eastern. And actually, that will probably move forward now because of daylight savings. That's going to be moving to 7:15. Is that correct?
I believe so.
Yes.
So it'll be 7:15 Eastern on YouTube at youtube.com/Raceverse. So for Steven Larkamp, for Matt Houston, for Dakota Domain, for everyone at Raceverse, I'm Gary saying to all, stay happy and healthy, and to all of our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Thanks again, everybody. We'll catch you next time for the next race of the Monday Night Indy Split. Good night.
You're blind. You're trying to escape from here, aren't you? I want to see how far you can make it before your head is chopped off.